As I predicted, Scarlett Johannson has just opened up the floodgates, and Disney is mad. But now, both Emma Stone and Emily Blunt are considering legal action as well. Whoopsie! Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and as I reported yesterday, Scarlett Johannson did a game changer here by going public with this lawsuit against Disney. Now, she's a huge name. She's a big star, and this is not a good look for Disney to be fighting her so publicly. In fact, traditionally, these types of suits would just be done in closed quarters. And Disney is going to try to make that happen pretty quickly, but Scarlett and her reps did something clever here. They went after Disney and not Marvel. A lot of people think this should just go to arbitration. And most contracts would require arbitration to be held in private. But because her contract is through Marvel, many are suspecting that's why she is going after Disney for saying that they've mishandled the way that the Marvel release should have happened. Add to that, there's reports that Kevin Feige, the Marvel boss, is reportedly furious over Disney. Now, we talked about this a little bit last night. Jody was on, and Jody had an interesting side. Look, there are some takes that think this is spin to sort of justify why the film didn't do well. Kevin Feige, Scarlett Johannson, maybe they're trying to save face because they don't want to look like this was a failure or a flop, when in reality, let's be honest, it was. And I think even if the film was released, full theatrical, yes, it would make more, but I still don't think it's going to make the amount of money that Scarlett Johannson was thinking. However, a contract's a contract. And a lot of people out there who are saying, well, Andy, who cares? She's already made $20 million. This is ridiculous. Come on. If you got shafted $100 from your paycheck, would you make a stink? You would. Anybody would. Whatever you're supposed to get paid, you should get paid. We shouldn't be shaming or, oh, well, you made enough money, which is what Disney tried to do. Now, Disney responded. We talked about this last night on my live stream. If you missed my live streams, you should be watching every Tuesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. In fact, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you can not miss it. If you hit the bell for all alerts and smash that like button, you'll make sure you get notified. And you can leave a comment to help the algorithm. Most importantly, you can hit join down below, and that way you can catch all the replays of the live streams. They're a lot of fun. Join the community here. But as we were saying last night, this broke. Disney actually responded to Scarlett Johansson's claim, and in one of the worst statements I've seen. Disney said, there's no merit whatsoever to this filing. Disney said in an unusually fiery statement, the lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the pandemic. Ouch, Disney, what are you doing? Company went on to state that the star has already received $20 million for her work and argued that the release of Black Widow and Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she received to date. Now, this is telling for two ways. As we said last night, one, they revealed her salary, and they tried to use that to make everyone who's reading this to think, oh, she's being greedy. And then they use this pandemic excuse to sort of make it seem like, oh, she's not taking this pandemic seriously. How dare she? It's a really sinister misdirect where, no, Disney, this has nothing to do with either of those things. First of all, how dare you just put her salary out there like you're doing? If you have a contract and she has a deal that you made, you got to follow that deal. But they're trying to make her seem greedy and, callous. That's ridiculous in my mind. It's completely ridiculous to make that connection. This is business, and you can think whatever you want of these stars make too much money. Great. Fine, think that. But the reality is everyone should get what they're supposed to get. And Disney is trying to hold out. And the difference here is Netflix pays everybody up front all of their fees. There are no back-end deals when you sign up for a Netflix movie, and stars sort of know what they're getting into. And then HBO Max, which did a similar deal, which they decided to surprise their talent by saying, we're releasing this now digitally. They ended up paying them. Now it's apparently $300 million to all the talent that they've divvied out to pay them, so they were paid as if the movies were hits. And that therefore HBO Max can do whatever they want with the movies. Didn't mean that the actors weren't still upset that they weren't getting their theatrical release. It just meant, okay, well, we paid you off. Now let us do what we want with the films. Disney seems to want to be avoiding that. And this statement they did is pretty shocking. They don't usually go out there and get this vocal and fiery, as Variety's saying. So when I saw this last night, I was shocked that Disney went so aggressive. Well, Scarlett's not done either. Her agents have now stepped up and slammed Disney for this direct attack on her character and leaving talent out of the streaming profit equation. So here's the direct statement. This comes in from CAA chairman Brian Lord, who's her agent. An agent, for those of you who don't know, is like makes all the deals. Agents don't usually do anything for their talent unless you're a big name and you're making money. But now the agents aren't making money. So the agents are definitely going to speak up and defend their clients now, because if the client makes less money, all the agents and lawyers and everybody else make less money. This has a trickle-down effect. So of course Hollywood's going to start getting pissed at the studios for not giving them what they're supposed to get. So anyway, here's the ScarJo's agent Lord's statement, where he says, I want to address the Walt Disney Company's statement that was issued in response to the lawsuit filed against them yesterday by our client, Scarlett Johannson. They have shamelessly and falsely accused Ms. Johannson of being insensitive to the global pandemic in an attempt to make her appear to be someone they know, and I know she isn't. Facts. Really low blow attempt to try to do there. Scarlett has been Disney's partner on 9 movies, which has earned Disney and its shareholders billions. The company included her salary in their press statement in an attempt to weaponize her success as an artist and as a businesswoman. In fact, as if that were something she should be ashamed of. Scarlett is extremely proud of the work that she and all the actors, writers, directors, and producers at the Marvel creative team have been a part of for well over a decade. This suit was filed as a result of Disney's decision to knowingly violate Scarlett's contract. They have very deliberately moved the revenue stream and profits to the Disney Plus side of the company, leaving artistic and financial partners out of their new equation. That's it, pure and simple. Disney's direct attack on her character and all else they implied is beneath the company that many of us in the creative community have worked with successfully for decades. Totally spot on. Totally spot on. I think the statement is right. I'm on Team Scarlett on this. Look, I know Disney's just trying to save face, save the money, but them going aggressive here, I think, is a massive, massive misstep. Now, one could argue the movie's not making money. Why should she get paid? Well, it's not her fault, and they should be treating the talent better. All the talent. We got the Jungle Cruise coming up. Emily Blunt and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Reports are that The Rock... Again, can't confirm these reports, but these are coming in from some pretty legit insider trade people. They're saying The Rock knows what's going on and he's fine with it. However, there are reports that Emily Blunt is not, that she's unhappy with it. You got 2 big talent there that I'm sure have massive back-end deals. And the reason they do these big Disney tentpole movies, let's be honest, is for the cash. It's not for Oscars and, the creative, oh my gosh, freedom and stuff that they do. They do these big Disney movies to get a payday so they can go do the other movies they want. It's all part of the deal. And granted, yes, the pandemic is unexpected and it has changed things. However, they should still get paid what they're promised. And so a lot of these actors, Emily Blunt, etc., are all considering this. The biggest one, though, apparently, is Emma Stone. Now, she's really upset with the way Cruella was released. It got put up against... It was also a premiere access release. And I'll be honest, I liked Cruella. I think Cruella got a bad rap, and not a lot of big people saw it, or maybe they tried to see it on Disney Plus, but then didn't really want to pay it. Either way, Cruella was actually a really good film, and I think had this been released in regular times, this would have been a huge monster hit for her. And so I think Disney, they could have shortened it. It was a little long, a movie aside from that. But I think Disney missed out on this one. Somehow this got released improperly. They sort of rushed it out in a weird weekend against A Quiet Place 2, which was only available in theaters. Granted, it was a short window, but it made a ton of money in theaters, and it was a much smaller cost, budgeted movie. To go up against that was a massive, massive mistake in the world we currently live in. Putting up multiple movies right now is clearly not doing well for the studios, and she's upset that the film didn't get to have legs, given that it was on Disney Premiere Plus. And so she's the biggest name right now that's coming forward. This comes in from Hollywood reporter-editor Matt Belloni, who has some pretty good insight. I've been paying attention. He has this newsletter that goes out, and yes, he's saying she's currently considering a lawsuit of her own, is weighing her options, and Emily Blunt's name as also could speak out after the Jungle Cruise opens this weekend. They're going to see what happens. He calls Disney notoriously difficult to deal with in these circumstances, adding that fellow creatives have been waiting in the wings for someone to spotlight this and speak out. He also indicated that Johannson has an overwhelming amount of support from fellow artists, speculated this issue will not be quieted. Disney lawyers were quick to respond, but this is a battle that will continue to go for a while. And I think Scarlett has inspired the likes of Emma Stone and Emily Blunt, because look, if enough of those big, huge, talented people come up, that's going to make Disney look real bad. It's just going to make them look real bad. And sure, in the eyes of public, you might say, Andy, it's all just an industry nonsense. Who really cares? No, it's this talks. They're all going to start. They make these Disney movies to make money, to sort of then have a success in their belt, and then use that success to get more hit, to do the passion projects that they want. If they're not getting that anymore, why do the Disney movies anymore? Why would they keep putting their star power up on these Disney movies if they're not going to actually get any value? And let's be honest, having a Rock movie, having an Emily Blunt movie, having a Emma Stone movie, having a Scarlett Johannson movie to be able to blast, all over your Disney Plus service is something you got to pay for. It's just what it is. And I think that goes for a lot of special, creators, writers. There's a lot of talent this is going to trickle down to. If these big name talents can actually work out proper deals, then other unions and other agencies are going to do it as well, because everyone's got to share in these profits, because these movies make a lot of money. They may not be making as much money right now, but they will again at some point, and we got to work on a new system to figure that out. Kevin Feige apparently, reportedly, also this comes in from the same that newsletter, same author. Apparently, he's Feige is a company man and prone to not do corporate showdowns or shouting matches, but I'm told he's angry and embarrassed. He lobbied Disney against the day and date plan for Black Widow, preferring the big screen exclusivity and not wanting to upset his talent. And then when the S hit the fan, the movie started tanking, and Johansson's team threatened litigation. He wanted Disney to make it right with her. Disney failed to comment. And so this only reiterates the fact that I've also heard they tried to make a deal. Look, you don't make a lawsuit like this public if that's not your plan. And a lot of industry people are coming out saying that they don't suspect that she even has that good of a shot to win this, the reality check of sort of it all. But at the end of the day, what they all sort of agree is that this was all public play. There's a lot of reasons why they did this publicly. And it reiterates the fact that they must have tried to make a deal, and they couldn't agree to terms. So Scarlett went public to try and get the public opinion and the other talent to sort of rally up with her to stand up against the big House of Mouse and try to get something to finally change, because they're out there avoiding this. Every other studio is seemingly getting this problem. Disney is trying to avoid it and not pay the talent. They want to lump their Disney Premier Plus access numbers with the box office and say, hey, when that goes up, you guys get paid too. But the reality is it's not fair, because buying one $30 Disney Plus doesn't equal to 10 tickets that a family would have bought going twice to the movie theaters. So a lot of stuff to be figured out here, and a lot of stuff will be figured out as they continue to fight this. There's also a lot of creative Hollywood accounting that can hide the numbers, whereas traditionally you could just go check out the box office numbers on Box Office Mojo or a lot of the trades. You know how the movie did based on the ticket sales. It's a third-party numbering system. But now with the behind-the-scenes numbers, yes, you can request these audits, but I read in another piece that Raya and the Last Dragon, there's talent involved in that film that has been waiting now 4 months to get those numbers, because the bonuses hit at 150 million. And so creative, accountants can go in and like sort of adjust those numbers to make sure it doesn't hit 150, to make sure that they don't get their bonuses. There's a lot of shady stuff these studios allegedly can do. Not going to say anybody's doing it for sure, but it's looking bad for Disney, and all this just makes Disney look like a shady studio, which they've done some shady things, let's be honest. Some of the stuff they've done, I'm not a fan of. Some of the firings they've done of certain actors and things, I'm not a fan of it. So this is only sort of reiterating the corporate behemoth that is Disney, and I think they made a massive mistake in not just paying Scarlett behind the scenes some money to just make her happy and keep her in the business. Huge mistake on their part, but we'll see how this all unfolds. Most industry experts, and I tend to agree, think this eventually will just get settled, but it's kind of crazy to see them stretch this out. They may decide, you know what, we got to fight this talent, and if we win, it's going to shut all the other talent up and leave us alone. But will that really be a win? Will the talent want to be working with them knowing that they're not going to get paid and taken care of? A lot of stuff to figure out, and this is a big story, so please keep it tuned. I got lots more to report on this week, so stay tuned. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do. Stay tuned for more Hollywood and pop culture coverage, outrage, all of it on Popcorned Planet.